My name is Kelly Ishmael, and in this video, I am going to show you how I used the new AI Denoise tool in Lightroom Classic. And this is the desktop version of Lightroom Classic, and I am using version 12.4. Before I dig into the actual editing process, I thought it might be helpful to give you a little bit of background information for this shot. It was in my backyard a couple nights ago. It was later in the evening, and there was a hummingbird flitting around the salvia in the yard, which I had never seen before. It was just super sweet. It just made me really happy. So naturally, I wanted to take a picture of it. But I have had a couple of pretty big challenges. The first challenge is the light in this part of my yard. I don't have a lot of natural light there that time of day. So that was going to be a challenge. And then the other challenge is just my gear. I don't have a super zoom lens. My best zoom lens is a 70 to 200 millimeter, which is fine for these types of backyard shots. And I was trying to stay a little bit far away because I didn't want to scare it off, obviously. So this was about as close that I could get with the gear that I have. And the other, like I said, the other challenge was the lack of light. So I had my ISO cranked up pretty high to 2000 because I wanted to give myself as much shutter speed as I possibly could. Hummingbirds, you know, they're just super fly, they zip around. So 1/800th of a second was about as fast as I could get. So here is the shot straight out of the camera. Like I said, it's underexposed, it's super grainy because of the high ISO, but I knew that I could use some of the tools in the develop module. And so for editing, the first thing that I did in the develop module was I just increased the exposure quite a lot. I mean, already that just makes it so much brighter and it makes everything stand out. I also increased this white slider, like I said, just to continue to make it feel lighter and brighter than it actually was. I also increased the contrast, the texture, and the clarity just to give the image just a little bit of pop, is what I like to call it. Okay, the other things that I've done here are applied the lens correction for the lens that I used. And then I've also sharpened the image. I used the sharpening slider, moved it to the right quite a bit, but I also masked off some of the sharpening. If I hold down the Option key on my keyboard and I click on the slider, the bright white areas are where it's applying the majority of the sharpening. And in this shot, I just wanted it around the flower and the hummingbird. So it's about as sharp as it can be. And so it's better already. So the next thing that I did was I used the crop tool to zoom in a little bit on the hummingbird. It's not showing up really clear in the video screen. Sometimes it takes a while for the preview to get sharp. So it's sharper than it looks here in this particular screen setting. But anyway, so I was able to crop in because I have a full frame mirrorless camera and I shot on a really large format. So cropping in, I'm not losing any image quality. I can still print out a really nice 4x6 photo for any of my personal memory keeping purposes, or, you know, just to have a little photo. Like I said, this is not a gallery image. This is not a premiere nature shot. It's just, you know, me in my backyard with a cute little hummingbird. So this is fine for me. Okay, so if you notice, there's just a ton of grain and noise in the background, and that is, like I said, due to the low light and due to the high ISO. So previously, I would have used these manual noise reduction tools, the luminance and color sliders, but there's a new AI tool called Denoise, and I've had a chance to play around with it a little bit, and I thought, well, let me see what it will do for this super grainy shot of the hummingbird. So I'm going to click on Denoise, and it takes just a minute for this dialog to load up, and then kind of behind the scenes, it's creating a preview of what the enhanced image will look like. It's got this slider here. You can play around with how much denoise you want to add, but you can see just in this preview how much it's cleaned up the background, and it's really just made the edges a lot sharper. And so I can play with this a little bit, but I think here is just about fine. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on the Enhance button. And what it's going to do is go through the process of actually creating a new copy of my image. And I will show you what that looks like. It takes just a minute or so for it to like crank through all of its behind the scenes stuff. So I'm going to click Enhance, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. Okay, so here is the enhanced shot after running the AI Denoise tool. And just for reference, here is what it looked like before. Tons of grain, tons of noise in the background. And now look, it's magic, I swear. It's so crisp and so clear. I love how even brought out some of the detail around its little feet. Utterly amazing, and just, you know, really made the flowers so much sharper, and everything just looks sharp and clear. Obviously there's still blur in the wings. There's nothing I can do about that because I didn't have enough shutter speed, but it's totally fine. It's exactly what I was hoping to capture in the moment, just sitting in the backyard. So I hope this gives you some ideas to use maybe in some of your own shots. We all run into challenges with light or gear or whatever, but there are just a lot of great tools in Lightroom that can help us. And I hope this, like I said, gives you some ideas, maybe use it in some of your own shots. So let me know if you have any questions. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.